Hey, algebra students. Let's start with our review. I'm going to give you some time if you haven't already worked through the review, and then I will show you the correct answers. Alright, here it is, our worked out solutions, and just a real quick sketch of a graph is all I need. Be sure you pay attention to closed circle. If it's less than or equal to, then the dot is closed, and if it's not equal to, then we have open dot, and going left for less than and to the right for greater than. Number 3 is a word problem, and as I read the word sum, I know it's an addition problem. And the other key is at least. It means it can be more. So the sum of a number and 7 can be more than -5. So that's why it's greater than or equal to. And then here is our set builder notation that we talked about in section 1. So we're ready for section 2 of chapter 5, where we're still solving inequalities, but now we're going to be doing multiplication and division. Now, solving inequalities is exactly like solving equations with this one exception, and this is the key. Warning, warning, this is our exception. Put a yield sign on your paper right here. A big old yield sign. What's the exception? If you multiply or divide by negative, you must switch the direction of the inequality sign, of the greater than or less than sign. So let me show you what that looks like. Our first problem, where we're multiplying to undo dividing by 4. 4's cancel, so n is less than or equal to a -68. Now I did not flip my sign. I have a negative answer, but listen, I multiplied by a +4. So this is not one of those situations where we need to flip the sign. So if you wanted to write this in set builder notation, n such that n is less than or equal to -68 with our fancy brackets. And don't forget to graph. So -68, -69, -67. I'm not going to put the whole graph. It is a closed dot because it's less than or equal to, and n is going to the left. All right? On our next problem, here we have x being divided by a -2. So to solve this, I need to multiply by a -2. Warning, 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 warning. What's the warning all about? The fact that we are multiplying by a negative. So get out those yield signs. Are yield signs red or yellow? Should be making them yellow. Sorry about that. All right, yield signs. Why am I yielding? Because I am multiplying by a -2. So here when I multiply by -2, it cancels. And here negative times negative makes +20. So where I have to be careful now is with my inequality sign. Because I multiplied by a -2, it turned my -10 positive, and I have to flip the inequality sign and make it that x is now, instead of greater than, less than or equal to 20. So in set builder notation, x such that x is less than or equal to 20. Now, let's test that theory and make sure, one more time, we did it in class, but let's make sure we can test our theory. What's a number less than or equal to 20? How about 0? That's such an easy one to work with. 0 divided by -2. That's going to give me 0. Oh, is that true? It sure is. 0 is greater than -10, so it checks out. So when you come over to graph it, you find 20 on your number line. It's going to be a closed dot because it's equal to, and it's pointing to the left. So please beware of multiplying or dividing by a negative. Here I have 2/3 times h. Well, to solve 2/3, I have two choices. I can think of it as a multiplication problem and then divide both sides by a fraction. And when you divide by a fraction, you flip and multiply. You flip and multiply. Make it 3/2 times 14 to solve for h. Everything's positive here, so I don't have to get out the yield signs. Or if you don't like division, you can think of it as multiply both sides by 3/2. Either way, the 3 cancels, the 2 cancels. Or originally I had the 2/3 canceling. You end up with h, and either way you do it, 14 has to be multiplied by 3/2. So you can take half of 14, which is 7, and 7 times 3 is 21. So h such that h is greater than or equal to 21 is going to be our final answer. So you come over to the graph, you find 21, it's an open circle, h is greater than, so it's going to the right. I'm going to let you all practice number 4 without me. All right, and I'm going to move on to more division problems. So I talked about that fraction problem could be division, but here for sure we will divide both sides by 12. So s is greater than or equal to 5. So s such that s is greater than or equal to 5. So on our number line, close dot, going to the right. Here I need to divide by, let's change colors for this new problem. Let's do green. Divide by -4. Divide by what? Woo, there's those sirens again. I'm dividing by -4. Beware, it's a -4 that I need to divide by. So it cancels, and z is not greater than anymore. Flip that sign. It's going to be less than -16. So z such that z is less than -16. All right, so you come over here. You're welcome to check it if you would like. Open circle because it's not equal to, and it's less than, so it's going to the left. All right, I am going to leave the next 2 for you all to work on your own. And moving right along, let's do one word problem together, and of course I'll leave number 2 for you to practice on your own. All right, Mateo is walking at a rate of 3/4 miles per hour. That sounds important. He knows that it is at least 9 miles to Onyx Lake. Oh, there's that key word, or 2 keywords, at least. That means it's not equal to, it's going to be an inequality. It's at least 9 miles, that's important, to Onyx Lake. How long will it take Mateo to get there? Write and solve an inequality to find the length of time, and it gives us a hint to use the distance formula. Distance equals rate times time, but I already heard the words at least, so it's not going to be an equation, it's going to be an inequality. All right, so the distance to Onyx Lake is at least 9 miles, and he's traveling at a rate of 3/4 miles per hour, and we're looking for how long. So we're looking for t, his time. So if it's at least 9 miles, the distance could be greater than or equal to 9. So to undo multiplying by a fraction, you divide by a fraction, which means then you flip and multiply. So we're really going to end up multiplying both sides by 4/3, which of course cancels. And this 3 goes 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. So the end result, t such that t, now be careful here, t is greater than or equal to 12. So it's going to take Mateo at least 12 hours to get there. That's his time. All right, you practice number 2. I'll check it when I see you in class. Have a great day.